We are pleased to welcome Dr. Pabhawan Suttiprasit, a distinguished lecturer from Sukhothai Research Open University. She will share her expertise on the topic beyond algorithm strategic framework for sustainable AI-driven industrial automation. Please welcome Dr. Pabhawan Suttiprasit. Good afternoon, everyone. The president and all the guests from many countries. You can call me Anne. I think it's better than it's really call me for song. In the 2009, so many years, and I've been glad again to meet all of you. But I'm assuming I didn't see any some professors or ex-professor for song. I think there's many songs that because my ideas we're sharing today is about garden and for sustainable because my idea is still with because when I studied and finished my PhD, finished in international property management. It's a combining between that I make a case law for the law applied to the strategy. So this kind of things that I think is very important for us to understand. We cannot say that because I think many of us are from the set school and from CERN and urban development and technology, but we could not deny that we are under the law. And by now, I think that's our globalization and many complexities that we under. We have, we can call it integralism or legally trilemma. That's happen from the complexity of compliance and the, the geographical competitions, especially from the American countries and China, right? That and now it's coming from and come up to I think that's Japan and also like the EU. So many couple of weeks ago that from the newspaper that the Netherlands governors that used the National Security Act that they did in during the World War II to get protection for their national security in ships, right? For ship company that take ownership from the Chinese company and fire the Chinese president in the Netherlands. That they use their own sovereignty for that, and it's very curious to what happened because maybe due to the AI and chip of that and these kind of things that are very important for us, I think. And my idea is sharing because my research in about because in like need to be interdisciplinary because I moved into this how to make a strategy for the company balancing between the living of people and also the survival of the business. That I have had a commercial law, international property protection, and also the privacy declarations, which is increasing importance in this today. So that you might chat because we are already countries that because I want to know from the other countries, just like India and also there's Taiwan for the DDPA or competition law. So why is the mental? I think that's to promote innovation commission. We can have to have a strategic framework that to have the AI that sustainable and maybe they have some question that if they shift to the AGI or ASD, ASI, something like that. And what will happen to our mankind? I think it's important have to maybe to sustainable for our business in today, and maybe less our network as maybe expanding the business or investment or maybe education or recreation. So I think right now we have planned that for our complexity of this world, we can say that we could be in the critical pillars of AI integration of the field. Sorry, the education industry automation, we have adaptive data governance. What is that? It means that dealing to the pressures and in many in each sovereignties and in each country, just like in Americas and EU and China, they have different law, but they make it their laws and the AI practice in each country. However, since the AI that are now to globalization, we adapt all the AI in all over the world. So the faces many jurisdiction and also the law implementation for that. We have IP-driven innovation strategy that from the patent landscape of IP invention, which means that if right now for the IP law, we have to consider other things that in the intellectual property management, and also have to be the antitrust proof business line to have anticipate in the future platform regulation, which I think that's also implemented in the EU country, where people from the EU could share as well happen because they have like a statutory mandate in this day, maybe which sharing more. That is last one, but not least, is the ethical automation framework to have to ensure the trustworthy order in the high risk or industrial environments. That's the many industries of like the healthcare or the that happen to be in they have to more the ethical automation framework for that. So these things that I would say about the regulatory approach for that, this may be do you know that different things of in each country that the law may be based on the people there and the prosperity and the sovereignties. The big trees that very good European nations, China and United States, have different law ideas. First one is the rights based on the comprehensive, just like the based on the people protection. It means that personal right protection, so that the GDPR is the general data personal regulation that apply all in the EU countries. That and then later on that they have AI Act, and last year they come up with the Digital Marketing Act that comply to protect the personal data or personal rights to do that. And China is a state controlled ecosystem so that the personal information protection law or anti-monopoly law is like to serve national security. I want to know about Taiwan too. Maybe you could share with me more later. So that what about the protection law in Taiwan is the same as in China or not? Because I think that this one might be the current. And the next is market driven, definitely audited in that, so that they have only just like the California Personal Information Protection Personal Data Security Act that happened. So, and they have like in the national information system authority that they have a framework for that, but it's just a guideline, not mandatory. This one may be questioned that why, and maybe it's like a whole thing that but that's why the Silicon Valley, that's like huge amount in US be like the first one for the AI inventor. So this is might be the market for. So that's why the reason that the EU doesn't have the company that have in the AI. We consider that just like Philips sells those chips company to China because they didn't see the potential of this because they're the right protection. That's very, very strong position for them. And it's like a very high entry barrier to enter the industry by themselves. But China is the different kind of things because they're like a state board or the food support. It's like this one might be some kind of like also have opportunities and also the challenge for to comply with that too. And I would say that this year they will have the for Vietnam they will launch the AI app will enact and maybe implemented in the next year, right? 2026. But for the Thailand, we only have the guideline for the digital marketing, so developing our own. But right now, it's just like the corruption law, the government tried to reframe the idea and copy. We will look after which one is better for us. The Data Protection Act, we likely to copy the EU, but now for the implementation, we have a problem by now. But so it's about that how we can make it that what suits for us due to our people, our culture and tradition, and also the markets. So I think this may be when this I would show you that the key benefit of gatekeepers that this one might be the things that could happen that why we have to set up this for the data governance, the adaptive data governance that created gatekeeper should affect because it's like the EU law that happened to be in the Digital Thing Act that created extra cur- the sorry the extra curriculum that have to force the company to have over the sovereignty of each country. Just like the company in Google is a US company, right? But they enter into the EU law, inside EU market, they have to comply with EU law, even though for the EU people that work in or use the Google in just like a third country, just like in Japan. The Data Protection Act also calls for that. So it's means that the Google have to comply the all over the world for the country for the EU people, which is very interesting. And also that the people for this is mean that the processing in data have to be compliant and protected by the EU right. Even though it's operating on the data center, it's not in the EU, it's outsider. So it's mean that they create an statutory regime for them to do that, which is very, very powerful. And maybe this one might be the model that China may have concern, and also they might concern about their national security too. And also, I think this one might be concerned because they will have geopolitical problems. And the patent and the copyright. This might be one question that because by now for just like the patenting that's the algorithms by now we call is like for the copyright, but for the full protection of the patent, if they have to be patenting that by now for the at least your framework, just like in USPTO, they not allow the idea concept, which algorithm is not a theory, right? It's a concept idea that AI launching that is correct may not be patented. And we have the questionable of who be the own writer of that because in their copyright law for the IP, the who created that had to be human, and why if the AI created that, who be the ownership of that? And they will say that they have, we can call that the creativity or not, because the thing that even though they have thing that AI they have consciousness, they can learn by themselves, but they don't have human life. They don't have we call dedication or attention to do that. So this is quite interesting to when we do ownership for this. And also, if you do for uh, the accountability for for the programming when you have a tort law. In the tort, if the AI create a mistake, we could not say that because it's like in the cancer, also like in healthcare, if the AI happen and when they have write down the program for them to create that, and then have a misuse or mispractice, how that will happen, and who say that who will own, who will make that injury, which is very important for in the criminal law. So this is why that's created ownership of the IP law because the copyright and trade will be in the trademark and it will be created ownership of that, which is very important like the concept of this. So that the combined that may be the increasing of the trade secret is another type of IP law that because in order to create competitiveness, maybe you cannot do patenting. You maybe have a questionable of the copyright ownership, so that is a trade secret. And there comes with gatekeepers that we have to transparency because they have to create trustworthy to the consumer and how they can because also the conflict of that. And is another key question is that about AI risk audit because the of the concern of the healthy and the trustworthy online really maybe they have to have a standardization of the AI. This might be coming up to. So this is the idea on the value of business. But anyway, so now it's the court make you make a decision that happen. So maybe our strategy is to do is the comply to be to make a roadmap that comply as a strategy. Because you know that in the future that the consumer is coming to maybe transparency and transparency is very important. So that you can come up with ensuring that they comply implementation and also comply. We have to say comply customer for each country. So that's equal to our authorities, and I think that's maybe if we have support and collaboration for each sovereignty might be very good and valuable for everyone. Thank you. I think it's a part.